Okay, here we are. Here's the essay we just started. Got the opening paragraph, first draft. Title, opening paragraph, much of this first body paragraph. All right, so I changed this to italics. There and there, the and the, and then the and there stands out. Plus, we're trying to emphasize it's the houses, the workshops, not their houses, their workshops. It's also visually a little bit more interesting. And then, not aspects, I actually think that we should do the notion of ownership of pri- private ownership. Um, Memorizing this, the hallmark of a society built on individual progress. The speaker shuns individuality through this word choice, instead celebrating the collectivist nature of a single cause, such as war. Compels the city's constituents. So we can say constituents, people, citizens. Constituents usually has to do with like voting and politics, and like partisanship, but or districts and whatnot. But I think citizen works. Say citizens. And then you can put this to leap through all the doorways. Yeah, bye. Speaker seems to excitedly exclaim that these people leapt. I already mentioned leapt, so you don't want to keep repeating it. All right, so then I typed a little bit up here. And I want to drive this point home. This could be a separate paragraph, but I think it might be this one. Such as war. Essentially, the reader gets a snapshot in order of A, the houses, B, the workshops. So the houses, the workshops, all the doorways. Places where the citizens work and live are characters in the story of this war erupting. So is that then that the city? Wow, the people are we don't want to argue again. We don't want to argue the world. We want to go back to our thesis, right? Which is overwhelming emphasis on war's inherent ability to bring people together. That's all it's saying. That's all it's saying. So let's talk about this. characters in the story, and that since and that those settings those domestic settings represent that all share doorways. So I can say doorways. Well, I already said doorway, so I would just say that all share similar structures, e.g. doors, doorways, etc. So let's put parenthesis. Those domestic settings all share similar structures. Those domestic settings all share similar structures, which further conveys the so you can convey the focus or the emphasis. But we already said emphasis, I believe, in this paragraph. We say minimizing, collectivist. We don't say emphasis. We said it in the first paragraph. We can say, and we can change conveys to displays to portrays, emphasis, focus. You just want to mix your word choice up, which further conveys the focus. Let's just say emphasis. Emphasis on community and shared experiences. With regards to this war that has Manhattanites getting arming themselves. So since I already typed that, I can repeat the phrase in sort of a different way. I think this is good. I think that's really solid. All right, I think we milked a good amount of material, evidence and support out of those 2 lines. Decidedly exclaim, minimize the notion of private ownership. Speaker shunned the new drug. It says celebrating collection of a single cause such as war. Yes, that goes back to our thesis. Word choice, collectivist, work towards a common goal. Oh, sure. So the places where the citizens work and live are characters in the story. Does that defend? Yeah. Also by placing these shared spaces. I don't want to say placing spaces. It sounds a little awkward. So say by describing, or you can say introducing these shared spaces that themselves share line 24. We can repeat this again. That themselves share line 24. Before, so it's introducing these shared spaces. Again, we want to go back to how does this show that they're teaming up? Well, so sure. For the received people actually move through the aforesaid spaces. It further pushes the individuality of each person. It further, let's say, relegates, because you know that's going to say going to the back. Relegates individuality of each person to a minor relegates the individuality of each person to a minor role in this poetic narrative. Instead, pushing forth the notions of community, because most of these buildings before, so introduced, we are introduced on line 25. Speaker, again, we hate it, the speaker. Because most of these buildings are similar. And the reader might perceive the people harming together. Once they've come out of their buildings, homes, doorways, offices, etc. It's a little bit long. I think it works though. Further relegating value of each person to a minor, almost poetic narrative. And we could change that to poem and the poem. But we're sort of emphasizing the fact that it's a story. Let's see if people aren't together. Arming together. I think this works. We might have to go in and clarify or make some difficult cuts, but I think for right now it works. I'm essentially trying to say that all the sense of individuality has been pushed out. Ownership, it's not their houses, their workshops, their doorways. It's the workshop, the houses, the doorways. It's making them very generic and general. It's almost like saying that individual people don't matter. Instead, the readers don't matter in this narrative. Rather, is the notion of community. I don't know if I say most of these buildings are similar. Is the notion of community. So let's change poetic narrative to poem. The speaker, not the reader, the speaker. That individuals, rather, what matters is the notion of community. And the word choice. Line 24. choices. And mine's 24 to 25. Reflect that notion. I'm definitely going to improve this. It's just a first draft, but it's a good start. We'll definitely do the next one, and then we've got. I think this paragraph's like a B minus. I don't know if it's super clear. I'm gonna try to make it a little bit clearer. I think it's decent. These first two paragraphs, but first two body paragraphs. You see how it gets long. I mean, look at that. That's, two paragraphs. That's about half a page here. But if I spread it out and double spaced it, it'd be like a full page. So that's why a lot of times, you don't need that. So yeah, there's that poured out its myriads, and we'll probably trim. I mean, we'll probably trim, but yeah, and then this will be the next one. Let they arming. The action is emphasized. Yeah. Lastly, with regards to these two lines, action is emphasized since the word leapt comes before the word they. Which further underscores the speaker's not emphasis, but not preoccupation, because that sort of implies something negative. Preoccupation with, death or misery, or underscores the speaker's focus on war's ability to not only bring people together, as a team, but also selective rhetoric thesis, actively to help people actively devote themselves to a non-selfish social cause. This activity left. Okay, it's a bit of a stretch, but I think it works. And again, we're gonna revise. So, but I think it's good. I'd rather overshoot a little bit, especially with some of these quotes and arguments, and then sort of back off. And then there's a couple ways to play it, but that's normally how I like to do it. I like to really try to take some risks and take some, and really challenge myself in terms of the analysis and the explication and the understanding and comprehension of, word, but also aim at the thesis. Remember, it's all about word choice. And it's about inherent ability to bring people together collectively, actively, common goal, and that's what we're talking about here. So, see you guys next time.